All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be doing another deep dive. If you know anything about me, then you know there is nothing that lights a fire under my tush more than abusive behaviors towards children. Now, this was supposed to originally just be kind of a quick and easy podcast episode, but it quickly spiraled into being more than that. So I decided that it'd probably be best just to do a little two-part series. So that's what we are doing over today and tomorrow. We're going to be essentially looking at two sides of the same coin, one side being family vlogging, YouTube, social media, parents in general, and then the other side being more traditional Hollywood. So with that, make sure you do have the notification bell on because you don't want to miss tomorrow's episode, and make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Give this video a thumbs up. All of my other social medias will be linked down below as always, and let's get into it. Okay, so to kick off this episode, we're going to be discussing influencer parents in general. I've always been a silent hater of this particular genre of social media stardom, if you will. And there are constantly new scandals surfacing in this arena. And I've always wanted to talk about it, but I never had kind of like a long form place to do it. And now that I have this podcast and this channel, it feels like the perfect place to be able to kind of dump all of my thoughts onto because I have a ton of them in this regard. Go figure, as usual. When do I not have a ton of thoughts? So we're going to overall look at a ton of different ways that parents are using their children for fortune and fame. And there is one collective term for this, which is sharenting. How creative. They create a term for everything, don't they? Now, according to Cleveland Clinic, because yes, apparently it is that big of an issue, sharenting is the act of digital oversharing, of excessively posting information, pictures, stories, or updates about your child's life. Now, for me personally, the page that sparked this idea is run by a woman named Jacqueline, and she shares this page with her 3, maybe 4-year-old now daughter. I will not be mentioning the names of any of the children in this video just because I don't want to add to the sharing of their information. Now, to give you kind of a general idea, this one page of this woman who, for some reason, is tag teaming social media with her toddler has 17 million followers. Now, the content can vary on the page, but it almost exclusively was focused on her daughter. Now, I know in the beginning phases of this channel, Jacqueline would post videos where, for example, she would dress her daughter and then have her mother dress her daughter and see which outfits the daughter liked better. Now, keep in mind, again, she's only maybe 2 at that time. And I remember these because I used to love these videos. I thought this was the cutest little girl in the entire world. I never thought anything of it. And again, and this was before I really knew or understood how dark and depraved this kind of crap can get. And it's just crazy to look back on that because I do remember those videos being posted. Now, I do think that there's also a clear difference between what Jacqueline was posting then and what it slowly evolved into being. So I'm going to play this video of this guy off of TikTok explaining the situation a little bit more in depth.
This is Ren, and this is her mom, Jacqueline. Do they look like a happy mom and daughter to you? Well, they're not. Every day these two wake up, she's excited because she gets to do a fun activity with mommy. And she's looking at her daughter thinking, what can I do with her to please them today? Don't believe me? Well, here's a list of 11 things proving that this mom knows exactly what she's doing. Number 1 is she handpicks the thumbnails. She finds the most inappropriate, suggestible moment in the video and makes that the thumbnail. You're probably thinking, Jess, why would she handpick these inappropriate thumbnails? How could a mom do this to her own kid? To attract P-words? Yeah, she wants to attract P-words because they make her money. Number 2, strange men are commenting inappropriate things on all of her videos, and she's seen the comments. The mother has seen the comments and doesn't care. Number 3, she made an apology video acknowledging the whole situation, so she knows that it's happening. If you were a mom and you knew that just one person saved this video for that purpose, would you remove all of them of your kid? Because I would. Proof number 5 is the fact that Jacqueline has a son that none of us know about because she doesn't post him. You know why? Because he doesn't get as many views as her. Number 6 is she coached her daughter to say, oops, I swallowed it. Is that okay? When she was chewing on gum. Number 7 is when she made a video talking about how she asked an FBI agent to search the dark web for her and they didn't find anything. Well, why would it need to be on there, Jacqueline? You post it right here on TikTok for free. Number 8 is the fact that her Instagram, Jacqueline's, the mom's, is private, but her 3-year-old daughter's is not. How more obvious can you be? You only post your daughter and all of her stuff is public, but the rest of the family's private. Why is that? Why is the daughter so public, Jacqueline? Number 9 is all the favorites on the videos. Any video that has something in it that could be taken that way with her daughter involved has so many saves. The honey one has 389,000 saves. When it's just the mom posting about herself, only 860. Finally, at number 10, my last point, why is this child so terrified of that kind of shape? I have it blurred, but this kid was terrified of that kind of shape. There's also a video where she's terrified of whipped cream. What child do you know is afraid of whipped cream, that doesn't like whipped cream? We know that you know what you're doing, Jacqueline.
All right, so here is the overall gist. 1, it is risky to post your child online no matter what. People with the wrong intentions can do and find something nasty. And as a parent, it is your purpose on this planet to protect your children from these types of perversions and these types of perverts. Your job doesn't stop there, but it is one of the big ones and one of the easiest ones to do as well, frankly. But the second point to this is, what's worse than these types of monsters finding something disgusting in something innocent is to take it a step further and to intentionally put your toddler in these types of compromising positions to feed these monsters. That is a level of hell that I don't think Dante covered. Now, Jacqueline has been under fire for this multiple times, but I don't think it's ever been this bad. And as I mentioned earlier, in the time that it has taken me to put this episode together, she has completely cleared out her page. There's no longer content posted there. Honestly, I don't think I fully understood how extensive and dark this problem was until I started looking into it for this episode. I knew that there was a problem. I knew in my gut, like, it didn't feel right, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it until I started truly looking into it. While she has taken the content off of her page now, I think it's important to talk about the fact that she was under similar scrutiny about a year ago for similar reasons, the exact same reasons. And at that time, she had put out an apology video. I don't even know if you could call it an apology, an explanation video. That feels even worse somehow. But this video just felt so strange, and so many people felt this way. It felt very scripted. It just didn't come off as being sincere, and there seemed to be a lack of concern for her daughter. And I'll just play a little bit of that for you here, just so you can kind of get a little bit of an idea what I mean when I say it's just very scripted.
The past few months have been incredibly distressing, and I've learned a lot. What started out as a hobby to make a digital scrapbook for my daughter Ren grew into an interesting role for me as a single stay-at-home mom. Ren is my number one priority, and her upbringing and safety are my top job 24 hours a day. This account has allowed me to provide for my daughter and to set aside money for her future. What I've learned from this ordeal, I realize I should have spent more time reading the community's comments. With millions of followers, this is no easy task. If these false rumors have prompted parents to rethink how they let their kids be involved in social media, that is a good thing. Honor and act upon your personal decisions, but please, do not mom shame me because we have different parenting styles. I look forward to making more videos with my daughter, and I am committed to making changes when I turn my account comments back on. I will filter them to remove offensive comments and report and block accounts as necessary. Online safety precautions that will remain in effect include disabling the ability to download or duet our videos. Stopping sexual predators is a job for law enforcement. The TikTok community, including parents, can play an active role in this effort by forwarding real evidence to help the authorities catch the creeps. Let me say it again. If you have real evidence, please contact me. I would do the same for your child. Thanks for listening, and you can read the full version of my statement on my Instagram account, TikTok Ren. The link is in my bio.
And after posting this, she went back to regularly scheduled programming of putting her toddler in weird compromising positions. And what that action says to me is that she is aware of the not only potential, but likely consequences of posting her child online, especially in the fashion in which she does it. But the paycheck is simply more important. Now, in that apology video, she does mention that she started posting her daughter in an effort to have a digital scrapbook for her to look back at when she gets older. And I'm sorry, but that just falls completely short, because if that was the actual purpose of the account, then she could easily make it private. She could post all of these things, have it be private, no one would ever see it, and then it would just be a private thing for her daughter. But again, she would at that point lose the paycheck. It's pretty obvious what her actual intentions were. But as I mentioned, she has at this point removed all of the content off of her page. So hopefully she sticks with that. If she comes back to the internet, that's fine, as long as it's just her. We're going to discuss another TikTok mom here in a second who did something similar. Obviously, there's not a problem with you posting your life as a mother. You just need to leave your children out of it. You need to protect your kids. My lord, help. So the next person that I would like to discuss is a woman named Maya. And she got popular for being a single mom of twin girls who were very, very cute. And just her days in her life of how she took care of them, holding both of them at the same time. Little things like this that the internet just loved to see. But of course, nothing can be sweet and innocent online. So Maya, just like Jacqueline, got a lot of backlash for profiteering off of her girls. Now, earlier I discussed the fact that misconduct can vary online. And this is an example of that, because while both of these people were exploiting their children, and Maya was also potentially posting compromising things of her girls, I would say that her downfall was because she mostly just was careless with her girls. Now, one of her big scandals, and it feels so horrible to call it a scandal. Like these aren't scandals. This is abuse. These are abusive situations that we're discussing here, and for them to be chalked up online to scandals is just mind-boggling to me. But at one point in time, Maya left the girls in the car while her and her friends went swimming in the ocean. She did a similar thing while she was at work. Now, both times the car was in eyesight and the AC was on. But I do believe that there is a story actually going on right now about a dad who is facing time in prison because he left his daughter in the car in the driveway with the AC on because she had fallen asleep on the drive home, and he didn't want to wake her up. And she passed away because the car auto turned off, and it was 109 outside, and it's negligence. It's negligence. You do not leave your child in the car. That's insane. And even aside from the AC potentially turning off or something that extreme, it only takes a moment for someone to come and steal your child, or steal your car for that matter. If you're leaving your car running, it's just so reckless and careless and blows my mind. I do episodes every once in a while where every 15 words I feel like I'm saying my mind is blown, and this is one of them, because I just simply cannot grapple how people can behave in this manner with their children. I don't understand. I don't have kids of my own yet, but I do have my nieces and my nephew, and they're the most important things to me, and I don't know how you can be so careless with children. It truly does just blow my mind. But anyways, all of that, bringing it back to Maya. So she had a couple things like that happen. And then she also took the exploitation a step further because she made merch with her girls on it, which obviously just added fuel to the fire. And again, it's so weird. So weird. Could you imagine having children and then putting their faces on t-shirts and selling them online to strangers? It's just so bizarre. And now, and another thing that people were upset about, and I'm not gonna lie, this is like the least offensive thing that we will talk about today or tomorrow. She also made some merch with the girls' names. I'm not gonna mention what their actual names are, but people in the comments would make jokes. If the one girl had a S name and the other one had a V name, and so they would come up with things that start with S and V, and it was just like a little game that people would play in the comments. And one that was really, really popular was Scotch and Vodka. And so there was a t-shirt that said Scotch and Vodka. And people were upset that she was like making jokes relating to alcohol and her girls. And is it great? No. But is it as horrific as anything else that we've discussed? Also, no. So that's just at the bottom of my list of concerns today. So, as I kind of hinted at, Maya has made some changes in the way that she posts on the internet today. She no longer posts the girls, her Instagram or her TikTok just focus on her or her boyfriend or just things that she's doing with her life that don't involve the girls. Now, if the girls are featured, it's either just the backs of their heads, or if she has like a picture of them, like a family picture, she puts like maybe an emoji or like a sticker or something over their face so that you can't see it. And I'm willing to be gracious to people who make that change to protect their children. It does not excuse any of the past behaviors, because the past behaviors are pretty damn egregious. They're pretty bad. But she's trying to change, I guess. I mean, I don't know about that. So what I have learned from the influencer mommy segment of this episode is that child predators are using apps such as TikTok, such as Instagram, to get their rocks off, instead of resorting to things such as the dark web. And women like Jacqueline are feeding into this system intentionally to make money. And I saw somebody pose the question of, when does it go from exploiting your children to flat out pimping them out? Because if you ask me, Jacqueline has crossed that line. It is so sickening. But we are going to move on from that segment of this episode to family vlogging. So you have the typical TikToker, influencer, mommy style content creators like Maya and Jacqueline, who exploit their children online for a quick buck. And then you have another version of that with family vlogging on YouTube. The original sin, if you will. Family vlogging has been a growing epidemic on the internet for well over a decade at this point. It is not new. And it's disgusting and freaky to me. It's why you would feel the need to share every intimate detail about your child's life online with strangers you don't know blows my mind. But first, what is family vlogging? So pretty much since the dawn of YouTube, there has been vlogging, which is a video vlog. Essentially, you just carry around a camera with you throughout your day, film things you're doing, making breakfast, going to the grocery store, going to the gym, anything you do throughout your day. You film it, you edit it, you post it, you have a vlog. Now, imagine you have a family and you film that. Now you have a family vlog. And it seems so harmless on its face. Just a mom and a dad filming their kids throughout the day, different activities that they're partaking in, this, that, the other. But things are never so harmless and innocent in the day and age of the internet. Never, ever, ever. It almost always crosses the line of becoming damaging and dangerous for the children involved. Even when you watch some of these videos, they always seem so staged and strange and weird. They always have a weird vibe going on. The damage inflicted can lead to having literal psychological malfunctions. I mean, imagine being a kid and having every single private family moment shared to an online audience. Varying in size, some of these families have 20 million subscribers. Family vlogging really started around 2010, so a lot of the kids that were in these families are adults now, and we are starting to hear more of their stories. One such person is named Cam Barrett. She did change her name, and I am not sure what her real name is, so I'm not sure what family she was a part of. But if I had to venture a guess, I would say that she changed her name because her real name is probably associated with a lot of intimate childhood things that she wants to distance herself from, which is completely understandable. And for that reason, I did not dig very hard to try and discover her real name because it's irrelevant. Now, she testified in support of a Maryland bill that financially protects these children, because another problem that is happening, which is something that's similar that we saw in Hollywood way back when, is that these kids are turning 18 and realizing that their parents don't have any money to give them for all of the work that they've done, because this is work. Make no mistake. These children are working. And arguably more importantly than that, part of this Maryland bill is that the children involved can request that any content they are featured in can be removed off of the internet once they turn 18, which is nice in theory, but the reality is once it's online, it's online. And that's the unfortunate thing. Now, thankfully, these types of bills are becoming more popular across the United States, but simply securing the kids' financial gain is not going to alleviate the core issues of broken trust, privacy violations, fear, anxiety that these kids experience. But I'm going to let Cam talk a little bit for herself. Now, this is sadly the reality for the majority of children in these situations. The fact that her mother took out a camera to monetize her getting hit by a drunk driver speaks to the level of brain rot that these parents have. If your first instinct to your child getting hurt or being sad or having any kind of distress is to pull out a camera and film it so you can post it online, you need to check yourself into a facility. You need to remove yourself from your child's life substantially. You need to be far away from them and work on yourself a little bit. And there are endless stories of this sort. And it is my personal opinion that anyone who participates in family vlogging is guilty. There are instances that we will look at today where the internet largely agrees with this guilty verdict. But I do not want us to forget that anyone who is filming their children, putting them online without their consent in uncomfortable situations is guilty. And I will say that with my whole chest. They are guilty. Now, there are two specific families that I want to discuss today, the LeBron family, and I do not know how we make an episode about family vlogging without discussing Ruby Frank. So we will be discussing her. Let's start with the LeBron family. It is a huge YouTube vlogger family. The parents are Cole and Savannah, and they have 5 children. Just a brief history, Cole and Savannah met online. Cole was a very popular Viner back in the day. Hit the like button if you remember Vine. And then the pair got together. Savannah already had her first daughter at this point, and Cole kind of stepped in and was a father to her. Now, because Cole already had a history in content creation, he pulled Savannah into this and they started making content together, and their videos would do okay, but then they started making videos with Savannah's daughter, and those videos did exponentially better. And here we have, again, parents seeing dollar signs off of their children. And then they had more kids and they exploited them too, and it feels weird. They rubbed me the wrong way. So the LeBron family has had quite a few scandals over the years, but I'm only interested in the ones pertaining to the kids because they've had a couple that are just not relevant to the children whatsoever. So those were not the ones that we're going to be focusing on today. The one that I want to talk about today is from a couple of years ago. They did an April Fool's joke on the oldest daughter. This joke was that they had to get rid of the family dog because they could no longer take care of it. Now, keep in mind, I think this kid is maybe 10, if I had to take a guess. She's probably younger than that. That's not the type of joke you pull on a 10-year-old. They don't understand. I don't think that's a funny joke for any age, but a 10-year-old? Ooh. So in the video, obviously their daughter is very upset. She's on the couch. She's crying into a pillow. And instead of doing the normal, sane, not corrupt thing, which would be to turn off the camera, tell them that it's a prank, that it's a joke, or maybe not pull such a cruel joke on your child to begin with, they continue to film her and they put the camera in her face and they're like, oh, are you upset? And it's bizarre how, like, your daughter is crying. She's devastated. She thinks that you are getting rid of her dog and you're going to film it and put it on the internet. And what's even crazier is that they edited the thumbnail, they edited the video, they put it all the way up onto the internet. And it was not until people started commenting saying, what is wrong with you, that they at that point realized, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done this. And to be honest with you, I don't think that they realized that it was wrong. I just think that they saw that the reaction was online, that people were upset. And so they took it down for that reason. I do not think that they think that this was wrong. I do not, because you don't do something so obviously wrong without realizing it. So maybe they did realize and they just didn't care. I guess that is a possibility, but it's just insane. Holy shit. Now, obviously, Ruby Frank is like a whole nother level, seeing as how she's literally sitting in prison right now for abusing her children. But she is similar in the sense of, while her channel 8 Passengers was up and running, she's constantly posting the strangest things about her children. For example, she made her son sleep on a sleeping bag for months because he pulled a prank on his little brother. Could you imagine taking your child's bed away because they pulled a prank on their sibling? That's an outlandish reaction. That is a sign that you are mentally unstable. You're unwell. You need to go with the first person that I talked about checking into a facility. You need to go to. She was checked into a facility permanently, actually. But that's not it. She also filmed herself refusing to give her son's homework back to him. She filmed herself threatening to cut the head off of her toddler's baby doll. I don't remember why. The kid had maybe spilt nail polish, I think, or something of that nature. I mentioned my nieces and my nephew earlier, and I think about my sisters. The way that they would never... What kind of person who... Okay, I literally don't have words. I'm really trying here. You threatened to cut the head off your toddler's baby? Mind you, this was a toddler. It was like a 3-year-old, this kid was. And that felt like an appropriate and okay thing to do. And we're shocked that she's in prison. I'm shocked that it took so long for her to end up in prison, frankly. You should have gone to prison for that alone. I'm so disturbed. So obviously we mentioned that she is now in prison with her bestie, Jody Hildebrandt. And it all came out because essentially a child escaped. Which is so crazy to say. But this kid got out of Jody Hildebrandt's basement, went to a neighbor's house. The neighbor called the police. It's all on Ring video camera. The kid was incredibly malnourished. They found another kid in like a basement kind of situation at the house. It was all very disturbing. This was a very disturbing case, but it really does demonstrate that what you see online rarely depicts what's going on behind the scenes, and Ruby Frank is such a bizarre example because to some extent what you saw online did reflect what was going on behind the scenes. Now, obviously not to the same degree, but you could see inklings of this abusive behavior on the channel for sure. So as we have been saying, the array of mistreatment is vast. You have parents like Jacqueline who are essentially pimping out their 3-year-old. You have parents like Maya who are leaving their children in cars. You have the LeBrant family who is cruelly pranking their 10-year-old. You have Jody Hill, you have Ruby Frank. I mean, and I guess the underlying current is just like the fact that these people had the audacity to film these behaviors and then put them online. And obviously some of these are like the worst end of it, but as I said, it's an array, and anything you can think of, any kind of abuse or mistreatment that you can possibly think of, I promise you that there is a family that fits that description. And what we see online with these families is hardly even scratching the surface, and they almost always are abusive. And even if they're not blatantly abusive, just the act of posting your child's intimate private moments in itself is abusive. You don't it's crazy, all to make money. And that's like the thing, is like all of this is just to make money. You don't care how it impacts your kid. These parents have stopped seeing their children as children and started seeing them as dollar signs. And when you stop seeing your children as children, apparently you'll do anything to them. Apparently it just really strips you of the paternal instinct. I mean, I remember that video of that mom who was with her son, and he was crying because their literal dog died, and she's trying to get him to pose correctly on her shoulder and cry in this way for a YouTube thumbnail.
Be part of our family. So if you could pray for us, we appreciate it. I love you guys. Bye. Come here. Come closer for the video. Come closer. Come closer. Come closer. Put your head right here. Come closer. Closer. Down. Put your head down here. Act like you're crying. Really quick.
I am crying.
Go like this.
No, Mom, I'm actually seriously crying.
No, I know, but go like this for the video. Go like this. Put one hand up. Go like this. No, go like this. Put your hand like this. But let them see your mouth. Let them see your mouth.
No, Mom, I'm actually crying.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
I'm actually crying.
I know. Look at me. Look at me. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's over. It's over. It's over.
What's crazy about YouTube is because that it's just like the newest rendition, right? Because 50 years ago, they were having similar problems in Hollywood, and they're still having these problems in Hollywood. We're going to talk about it tomorrow, but it's just the latest evolution of the same problem. I feel like social media has either increased narcissism in people or given an outlet for narcissistic people to truly shine. I don't know which one it is, but I feel like these parents are definitely narcissistic, at least to some kind of level, to be comfortable with parading your children around like objects and not care for their safety or well-being in order to feed your own ego and your own wallet. It all comes down to validating their own self-worth through monetization and follower count and comments and all of these crazy things. And it's horrible. I really do fear for the children, this next generation of children who are growing up under these circumstances. Because as I mentioned earlier, we're starting to see a couple here and there of these kids who grew up in family vlog situations, but there's going to be a lot more. And I have concerns. But all right, you guys, we're going to leave it there for today. Like I said, there's going to be a part 2 of this coming out tomorrow, so make sure you ring the notification bell, make sure you are subscribed, all of that good stuff. And with that, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.